Before we start the meeting tonight, we're going to have an invocation led by Reverend Don Miller, and we're going to have the pledge, and that's going to be given by Councilwoman Debbie Montgomery.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father in heaven, we're thankful for the opportunity to pray. You've taught us, Father, that prayers are powerful, and we just come to you just now with a powerful prayer. We pray, Father, that we thank you for the gift of creation, the wonder of each and every day as it comes, and I pray, Father, that you'll help us to be good stewards of what you have provided for us. Father, be with this meeting. We pray, Father, you'll bless this council as they meet just now. Father, help them to have open hearts and open minds and be able to make good decisions for our city. We know, Father, that they've given up their time and their ability to come here and lead this city. And Father, we are thankful for your watch care over us each and every day. We're especially thankful, Father, for your Son Jesus, who came here to give us an opportunity of eternal life. And these things we ask in his name. Amen.
Amen.
Call the City Council for May 18, 2015. I ask that everybody turn their cell phones on quiet mode, if they will, or turn them off. This being our regular meeting, we'll have roll call.
Councilwoman Risch.
Present.
Councilman Weber. Councilman Schomel.
Present.
Councilman Nobby. Present. Councilwoman Montgomery.
Present.
Councilman Creech.
Present.
Councilwoman Seiler.
Present.
6 council people are present. We have a quorum and we can do business. Let the record show that, please. Reading the minutes of the May 4th, 2015 regular meeting.
I move that we accept the minutes as they were presented to us.
Second. Got a motion and a second that we accept the minutes as they were presented to the council people. Are there any additions or corrections? None appearing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Today we have the honor of celebrating first responders, or EMS week. And we're going to do that. We got our EMS people, if you'll come in. This is the beginning of the week of EMS. Come on up across the front here, guys. Girls, guys and gals. Commander Munson. This is your shift today?
Yes.
Okay. These are the people that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, are out there to get you at the hospital, come and get you out of a car, help you when you fall down the steps, just do anything they can to help you. And each year we proclaim a week that is EMS week, and that happens to be this week. I have dime store glasses because I had my eyes done, and I can't follow the lines across, so I'm going to ask Mr. Schomel to read the proclamation on my behalf. Fran?
All right, sir. The City of Connersville proclamation: to all to whom these presents may come, greetings. Whereas emergency medical services are a vital public service to the people of Connersville, and whereas the theme of EMS Week 2015, EMS Dedicated for Life, recognizes the countless lives that have been saved by the dedication of EMS personnel. And whereas access to quality care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services providers have traditionally served as the safety net of America's healthcare system. And whereas the members of emergency medical service teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas Americans benefit daily from the knowledge and skills of these highly trained individuals, and whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of the emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. And now therefore, I, Leonard E. Urban, Mayor of the City of Connersville, am proud to stand before you today and hereby proclaim the week of May 17th to 23rd, 2015 as Emergency Medical Services Week, and encourage all citizens of Connersville to observe this day in ways appropriate to its significance. In testimony whereof I have thereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the City of Connersville on this 18th day of May in the year of our Lord 2015. By the Mayor, Leonard E. Urban, Mayor of Connersville, attests Julie A. Greason, Clerk Treasurer.
Thank you, Fran.
You're welcome.
We have the best medical team beyond a doubt. I talk with mayors all the time. The response time, 3 or 4 minutes in the city. Outside the city, the response time is absolutely amazing. They get into all kinds of situations around the clock. Sure, they get paid for what they do, but it's a 24-hour job, and what they have to face each day, get up and down during the night, and ice cold, below zero, or 100 degrees. They have to face, and I hate to say this, but they have to face bugs, lice, bed bugs, risk their own with different diseases that they have to endure, and they do a great job. So it is only fitting tonight that we do it. Would you introduce the men you have with you tonight, Commander?
Brian Williams, Karen Lee, David Stevens, and Chuck Thompson.
Would you like to say anything?
Very good job.
Any of you guys, gals, want to say anything?
Thank you.
I do want to say, each year we have a thing out here on the farm. What do you call it, Chuck?
Teen Harvest Rally.
Teen Harvest Rally. Chuck volunteers, no cost to the city. He takes the ambulance out there and covers those kids. They fall, they get hurt on the things they do out there. They get sick, and Chuck takes care of. How many years, Chuck?
15 or 16 now.
So he volunteers. The rest of these people are just like that. They're here to serve you, not just for the money, but because they believe in it. So thank you so much for coming tonight. Council, anybody want to say anything?
Thank you
Good
very
job,
much.
you guys do.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, Mayor, I think the response time is even better than that sometimes. I know
Oh, it is, yeah.
that when my daughter had her seizure, those guys got there within just a minute or so. So
How many people in this room have
Appreciate
had to have the EMS at one time or another? Raise your hand if you had to have them. Yeah, we've all, it touches you sooner or later.
Mayor?
Yeah.
I can't say enough about this group. I mean, I've seen them perform miracles. I mean, the good Lord must be looking over them and assisting somehow. But I mean, I've seen these guys bring people back from the dead. I mean, I've been in this department 35 years and they've always been great. And then now we got the newer ones, and well, they're not new. They've all been on for probably working on 15, 20 years. But they are great. They really are.
They gotta get you there before you can get medical aid, and then they take care of you on the way in. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Fran.
You're welcome.
Under new business tonight, we have Resolution 2015-19, Police, Cable, and EMS reimbursement. This is telephone reimbursement where different people pay back in for the use of their phones, and it should be pretty easy to accept.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move to accept Resolution 2015 through 2019, 2017 through 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. pending ordinance 3185. We're going to ask you to put an additional handicap sign at 2159 Indiana Avenue. It was approved by the Board of Works today. We have a doctor's excuse that it takes, and they would like to have that there.
You want a motion on that, Your Honor? I would like to make a motion that we pass pending ordinance 3185.
Second.
Motion and a second that we pass pending ordinance 3185 for handicap parking sign in addition to the parking system. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Would you like to suspend the rules and consider this ordinance on third reading?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second that we suspend the rules and consider pending ordinance 3185 on third and final reading. On suspension of rules only, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. You may move forward if you'd like.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second that we move forward and consider pending ordinance 3185 on third and final reading, putting a handicap sign at 2159 Indiana Avenue. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried on third reading. This is an introduction to the new water and sewer rates. The first one will be pending ordinance 3186. The second one will be pending ordinance 3187. And the third one will be pending ordinance 3188. That'll be on stormwater. So you got water, sewer, and stormwater. The law requires that I introduce those tonight, and we give them to the clerk treasurer for advertisement, and it'll be the meeting, the second meeting in June, June 15th.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If I may,
Yes.
I introduced this the last meeting, and asked John to put this together. Could you have Mike or Brad or both expound on this a little bit?
Whichever one wants to.
You're the lucky one, Mike. Okay.
Short straw.
I did put some little worksheets up for you guys to look at.
Thanks, Mike.
Should be two of them there.
Sir.
Two in there. They were asking, first I apologize, I wasn't at last city council when it was brought up, so I watched it on Channel 3, and one of the questions was, what was the average resident fee? So I kind of did a synopsis of that. And right now, the average inside resident is $68.43. So that's what the worksheet is for. I guess there's three issues here. One is stormwater rate, then water and sewer increases. I guess the first one is fairly easy, is the stormwater. If you look at the page 2 and 3, page 2 is Umball study. I just took one page out of the many pages. And they suggested that we raise our stormwater fees from $5.15 to $11.43. We felt that was way too much. So page 3 is the $5.15 that we pay right now. And if you notice on 3, about 2019, we run out of money for the stormwater projects. And it pretty much stays in the negative, in the black, all the way through. That's at the rate right now. If we raise it, I know I got the wrong amount here, but when we talked about a month ago, it was $7.50. I know we said it's about $7.15, but at $7.50, on the third graph, we ran out of money in September of 2019, but we start to go back up in the black in December, or probably more like January of 2021, and we stay in the black until 2027. So we suggest that we raise the stormwater to $7.15, and when this shortfall appears in 2019, we'll just have to take a look, and, Brad and I is trying to cut costs as much as we can on these projects. And of course, they change yearly, these projects. I know we've already cut some costs on the previous project, so I guess we're suggesting a stormwater rate at $715 until 2019, see where we stand on that. Is there any questions on the stormwater?
Mike, I do have a comment. You weren't here last
Right.
week when we talked about this. And I told the citizens that the city utilities, we didn't just arbitrarily decide to create this stormwater program. We were mandated by the federal government. We don't have a choice. And it is imperative that we fund this to continue this project.
They actually gave us a schedule to complete, so.
I just want the ratepayers to understand we weren't just arbitrarily raising the
They
rates.
not only did that, but we went to court and we have a court order. You must do it.
We would get fined if we
Yeah.
did not do this, but.
Now, there is a little catch to this. They have realized that we're having financial problems down here, as is many Class 3 cities, which we are. And they have come up with a formula that if you can show through your formula that your money is tight and that your system can handle more sewage than really we need to, which we can. And if we are diligent in the projects that we've had on the board, we are allowed to go to Indianapolis sometime between September, or up till September, and we can plead our case, and we might be able to extend 10 years onto the long-term control plan. We are in the process of looking at that. I talked with some engineers on Saturday. We talked to some engineers last Friday. The problem is, when you do that, they want you to spend a whole bunch more money engineering. So we're trying to get around it. We're trying to figure it out because we did this rate study. We also did an update on our long-term control plan last year. So the two of them are sitting here. All you have to do is fit the two together. Some of these engineers are telling me we might be able to get by with spending less money by putting the two together. So I promised the Board of Works in 2 weeks we'll have those figures for them, and in 2 weeks we'll be able to tell you where we are on that. But these studies drive me crazy because it runs anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 every time you do these studies. You can pay for a lot of water and sewer line with $10,000 to $25,000. So that's where we are tonight.
And what that means, if it extends to 30 years, spreads that out, we may not
Have to raise
be
again.
in the red, so. And if we don't qualify, I don't know who does, so.
This council is being very generous to take this on themselves to be sure that the money is there for future councils, for future mayors. They won't have to worry about it. We're setting this up so that it'll be automatically coming in and you'll be able to keep up with your projects. So I appreciate the council being aggressive in this manner.
So the increase is $3.05 a month, is that right?
Well, if we do everything, which I mean,
Raise.
do it all.
Sure, okay,
That's on the average bill.
Yeah,
okay.
A lot of bills aren't average.
yeah, mine's not that low.
If you got kids at home and your wife washes a lot, it's not average. That wouldn't affect you, Fran.
Is there any other questions on the stormwater? The other items was wanting is a 2% increase in water and sewer. I mean, if you take a look at it, the average bill is $68.43 in town. Of course, some people's lower, some people's higher. So if you just take the $68.43 with the increase in water, sewer, in stormwater, it's now $71.48, which is a $3.05 increase. And if you take the stormwater out of it, it's only like a 98 cents increase. So, so it doesn't really affect, that 2% doesn't really affect it, but what we're asking for is 2% for the next 3 years. That pretty much covers inflation, that's about it. But we felt like with the infrastructure that we have and all the things that needs to be done, and the income that we're bringing in now, we really need to stay with it, or we're going to be back in the red in a few years. So it will generate, by looking at 2014 revenue numbers, about $91,000 total, that 2% increase. if there's any questions on that.
There will be a public hearing after we vote on the first reading tonight. There'll be a public hearing at the June 15th meeting. Anybody can come in. We'll have all the information on sewer and water and stormwater rates. These guys will be here to answer questions. We'll have a public hearing before it is adopted. And when it's adopted, I think you've got it scheduled to go into effect on September 1.
September 1st.
So it is.
September 1. Any other questions? Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
I could take a motion then that we pass these three ordinances on first reading.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Do you want to discuss with?
Under public
before
forum, we
do the
can.
motion?
It's not going to pass tonight anyways.
Well, I understand.
We'll do it under
but
public
if you want
forum.
to have it.
Yeah,
No, if you're requesting. a
because we
motion,
will have a public hearing
I understand.
before we pass it on. third.
I will make that motion.
You want to take all three at once?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Now, Your Honor, does this mean this will go up $3.05 next year again versus September of 2016?
No, the $2 stormwater fee is a
Okay,
one-time
so the
only.
increase will not be on the
No.
stormwater, okay.
No.
The water and sewer will. Two.
I'll second
I
that.
wasn't sure of.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Gabe seconded, okay. We have a motion and a second to consider pending ordinance 3186 water rate, 3187 sewer rate, and 3188 stormwater rate on first reading and first reading only. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Councilwoman Rish?
Yes.
Councilman Shomel?
Yes.
Councilman Nabi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Montgomery?
Yes.
Councilman Creech?
Yes.
Councilwoman Seiler?
Yes.
Okay, you passed that on first reading. We will have a public hearing before it's right on third reading, and that will be at the June 15th meeting. It'll be advertised in the paper. Thank you so much. On department reports, Gene, airport.
Leonard, did you want to do this?
Yeah, wait a minute, Gene.
Sorry about that, Gene.
Steve Alexander was in today, and I'll give you a little history. As you know, we've been working for more than 2 years to take the old pattern shop, the 6-story building, and try to do something with it. Community Education Coalition owned that building, and they left it. It was kind of in limbo. So the city council agreed that they would be a pass-through, and we would take the building until we could get it to somebody else to do something with, because it was just sitting there with no owner. We did that, and I gave you the ordinance that we did it. You all got that? I handed it to you. Will you read that? First one I gave you here, right here.
Oh, that's the one for now.
Okay, well, you got it, don't you?
One back in August.
I gave it to you. Fine.
Is this it, Your Honor?
Yeah, right here. Just read this.
Okay. Whereas it is the desire of the Board of Directors of the Community Education Coalition to transfer ownership of said real estate to the Connersville Redevelopment Commission for nominal consideration, and the Connersville Redevelopment Commission desires to take title to said real estate solely for the purpose of serving as a conduit so that the real estate may then be transferred to an entity that intends to develop the real estate into senior housing. Is that all you need?
Yeah, and that's, what date was that done, Frank?
August 4th of 2014.
Just to bring you up to date, that's where we were. Now, tonight, I'm asking you on this new resolution to give the redevelopment commission permission to go ahead and transfer this to the new company which is before you.
Now, when would that take place?
It has to take place prior to the 26th of May.
Okay,
If it doesn't take place prior to the 26th, they lose their financing.
okay.
They are scheduled to do it Friday at 4 o'clock, but we haven't publicly advertised it. We'll have it publicly advertised tomorrow. We just put this
So
together.
then, when it was transferred to this new entity, we would no longer mow the grass or anything like that?
We have nothing to do with it.
Okay, thank you.
In fact, construction will start, the phase one has been done, construction will start. He said it'll be all wrapped up before winter, and they'll work in there putting the heat, doing all that lights, wiring this winter, and it'll be completed sometime in 2016.
Okay, thank you.
I have a rendering on my desk. I probably should have brought it in here. It's a beautiful structure, lots of landscaping. And the company, in order to get the loan from the government, had to promise the city $25,000 in, what would you call it, something good for the city. And we've got 2 or 3 plans over there to make the entrance to the street department real pretty, to develop parking for the ballpark. They're going to do that with that $25,000. So it's a kind of a gift to the city, for the city helping them do this. And of course, we never owned this building. It had nothing to do with us. All we did is act as a conduit to get it to the right people.
Okay.
B40 apartments, very luxurious apartments for senior people. There's going to be a bandstand out on Western Avenue there. And so there's just a lot of flower gardens, sidewalks over to the ballpark. So it's going to be real pretty. So I would like you to pass that resolution, and John, it doesn't have a number.
215-20.
Okay, resolution 2 what?
215-20.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to pass resolution 2015-20. This resolution gives the Redevelopment Commission authority to transfer this to, I gotta find what it says.
Pattern Mill
Pattern Mill Senior
LLP.
LLP for senior housing by quitclaim deed. And John, you're prepared to do it, right?
Right, I've got the deed done
Okay.
and the resolution.
Does everybody understand? Okay. This didn't cost us any money, it just cost us some time. Thank you. We'll have a roll call vote.
Councilman Shomel?
Yes.
Councilman Nabi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Montgomery?
Yes.
Councilman Creech?
Yes.
Councilwoman Seiler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rish?
Yes.
Okay, you have passed that unanimously, and on Friday, the Redevelopment Commission will meet in this room in a public meeting and convey the property. Okay, now, Gene, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Julie, ladies and gentlemen of the Common Council, and Mr. Baker.
Hello.
I just want to clarify a situation that occurs, it seems, every time we get a large grant like the taxiway or this particular grant we're into now, and there's a transfer of funds. And I think it was transferred first this month, wasn't it, Julie? There was a $60,000 transfer of funds. A lot of people misinterpret that as the city putting money into the airport. And I was questioned, I said, well, it was brought to me, well, the city's in the financial emergency, how can they be doling out $60,000 and $90,000 and so forth to the airport? In clarification of that, it's a misunderstanding, and I can understand why, but you all understand why that happens. That money comes out of a grant, and Julie has those grants. As those contractors do their work, they submit claims of payment for the work that they're doing. We can't pay that out of the grant. We can't write a check on the grant. We can't write a check on the airport fund or the airport improvement program. It has to be placed into the budget. Then Julie can do a claim, and we can do a check, and those people get paid. That money, when it's transferred, is not transferred from the city. It's transferred from an airport fund or an airport improvement program where the grants are resting right now. So it doesn't cost the city anything. And the airport, we have made arrangements for our 5%. I've said this many times, I'll say it again. We buy $50 million for $50,000. We save our money, we count our pennies, we keep our gas receipts, and just like this present grant, we're going to owe $68,000 when the smoke and dust settles for our part of it. We've got it. We're not going to come to the city and ask for a dime. The city council, the mayor, and Julie, is our funding entity. That's written in the codes. you fund our budget. And then the other sides of the budget are what Julie handles and what we handle in the airport to make sure these grants are paid. And I just want to reiterate, it's not money coming from the city in a financial emergency into the airport to be spent on construction. It's stuff that we already have and it's grant money. We pay 5% for that grant. This term, that's going to be around $68,000, isn't it, Julie? Okay, is that okay? Does everybody see where we're coming from on that? Okay. The next thing, I'd like to compliment Daryl on the excellent article in the newspaper about what we're doing at the airport. And I would like to throw out, does anybody have any questions on that article? Anything that you're curious about?
I
or
just
like-
have one question. I didn't realize that we had capacity 84,000 pound runways. I did not.
Didn't have what, Tom?
I didn't know we had the capacity for 84,000 pounds.
Oh, yeah, we've had that
I
all along.
didn't- I
Yeah,
wasn't
our
aware of that.
runway is
I knew we had-
84,000 pound dual wheel,
Yeah, 6,300 feet or 67?
65.
65, okay.
I had a gentleman ask me a few weeks ago why we don't have any more jet traffic into the airport than we do. And it was finally determined, there's not much here, that a person to fly a $40 or $50 million jet into Connersville, eat at one of our restaurants, or to go to our movie. But what we are doing, we're supplying a 6,500-foot runway for a lot of cities around Connersville. It's not being publicized. Their jets are landing here, transporting the executives and the owners of that jet to these other cities to do their business by car, then they come back to our airport. These pilots that fly these $40, $50 million jets determine where that jet's going to go. The guy that owns it gets on board, he says, Gabe, we're going to this Longview Airport. Gabe looks at his plates, and here's Connersville, Indiana, 6,500 feet, tabletop approach all the way to the north, ILS, AWAS, full-length taxiway, all the bells and whistles. So they come here, they rent a car, and then they go to the surrounding communities. So we do have jet traffic. They're not coming here, but we're landing jet traffic. Anything else?
Personally, 'cause- and I know Gene, it isn't that we're just making major improvements to our runway to appease recreational pilots. As Gene has just stated, it's a huge selling point. It's a tool for our community. And Gene, you and your board have done an excellent job, and I thank you.
No, it's a thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. It's a team effort. It's Julie, it's 5 guys on the board. It's all of us work together. We don't do politics. We don't fuss and fight. We do sometimes over paying a bill. If it's something we don't like, we do that because the bills aren't just rubber stamped. We go through them, and Julie understands this. We put it on her sometimes. Table this. We're not going to pay it because if it doesn't meet our standards, we're not going to do it. And they can't hurt us too bad. We're volunteers. I mean, after all.
Appreciate it.
But if there's any other questions,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thanks for your work.
EDG, Dan Parker. I saw him.
He's out there.
Did you go to sleep out there? Did you go to sleep out there?
No. I'm hanging on every word. Good evening. Just a short report to each of you here this evening. First of all, I would, as a taxpayer and a registered voter and a lifelong resident, like to thank our EMS for the service that they put forth for our whole community. And I just add my voice and EDG along with this august body of folks to praise them for their service. Just to bring you up to speed, I don't know that I've communicated with you since we did our Chicago trip as part of the East Central Indiana Regional Partnership that EDG is a member of. That's a 10-county membership, and we have the benefit of going to different cities, towns, and meeting with site selectors, property management companies, finance companies that are involved with large businesses and businesses that are willing to expand or want to expand, searching for locations. So we have the opportunity to meet with those groups and individuals one-on-one. They won't come to Connersville, but they will let us come to them and certainly sell our county and city. So we did that last month. The counties that went out of the 10 were Blackford, Grant, Rush, and Fayette. So 6 of them stayed home and 4 of us went, which I liked because it gave me an opportunity to sell Connersville and Fayette County a little bit longer and a little bit harder because there wasn't 10 of us there vying for time. Gene just did sit down. One of the things that I always tout is our airport with its runway and accompanying taxiway and our instrument landing system. Certainly a huge asset. So at any rate, we met with a lot of good leads, selling water in our capacity, trying to still entertain a beverage company to come here. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you is last week we met with a site selector in Richmond, again through East Central Indiana Regional Partnership. Had dinner with the site selector last Wednesday and then met with her all day on Thursday in Newcastle at the library. And that was a joint economic development summit that was put on by Purdue and Martin Riley Architects and Engineers, which was very successful as well. Again, having some of that one-on-one time to sell Fayette County and try to make an impression with one of the leading site selectors in the nation. The other thing I'd like to share with you is that on June 1, we will, Fayette County, Connersville will go live as a ACT work-ready community. We'll be lit up, turned on, we'll be on the map. I'd like to report to you that before we do that, we have already obtained and reached 90% of our goals as it pertains to employees who have went through the work keys and have either established themselves as a silver, gold, or a platinum certification. And we're about 52% of our employers. So between now and the 1st of June, we'll be soliciting employers to get on board with the ACT Work Ready Community Initiative. And so what we'd like to do, and you'll be getting a follow-up on this, is invite each of you to the mayor's conference room on June 1st for the ceremonial turning on and Fayette County, Connersville being lit up and active as a work-ready community. And that will be at 11:30 on the 1st, between 11:30 and 12:30. I think that that is all I have to report, unless there's any questions from any of you that I can answer.
What do employers have to do to become the work ready?
It's really pretty simple, Connie. They go to the WorkKeys website, they hover over Indiana, click on it, and then it'll show the employers that we already have. I think our bogey is 21 and we have 12. There is a place right online for them to become work ready and to join into this. And then once they're on that, it triggers a mechanism where Work One knows it, and then we start the process of working together to do the testing.
Do they have to be currently hiring, or?
Not
does it-
really,
No.
no. Just supportive, certainly. And they have classifications. They could be 1 to 5 employees, 5 to 25, 25 to 99, and so on.
Does it apply to most?
It certainly
Yeah.
does. It certainly can. And what it does, for the employer, if they embrace the program, it really gives them a ability to select a higher grade of employees and stop some of the churn where you have to hire 10 to get one good one. This kind of eliminates that. If you get on that same site, you'll see lots of testimonials from employers who've embraced the program, and they just sing all sorts of praises about how it's saved them tons of human resource, money and time and frustration, because they get better employees going through the ACT Work Ready Community Program.
Dan, one
Yes.
question. Do you keep in contact with the folks that here in Connersville that own businesses and making sure that we are trying to meet all their needs that we can and so forth?
Certainly.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a great question, Tom. I don't typically in public meetings report on that, but there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Sometimes they ask for us to keep it private.
I understand.
They really don't want everybody knowing their business, and we certainly, appreciate that. But yeah, there's a lot of communicating going on behind the scenes.
Thank you.
One thing that you can be proud again, we haven't been able to give any money to economic development. However, we have paid for the training for the Work Keys process out of economic development, and we do have a part in that because
Yes.
we financed that on their behalf.
And forgive me, I typically in our board meetings praise the mayor for
No, you don't need to praise me. I
picking
just
up the
want,
charge, but he has picked up all the travel for these 3 academies.
but it lets us have a part because of our situation. We're not able to give money, but it lets us have a part in economic development. I could have went to the training and paid my way, which if I was going to be mayor in another year or two, I would have. But I thought it was a waste of money to train me since I'm leaving, and I thought it was better to train Dan, and that's what we chose to do. And one more time, is that what we got?
We got one more in Indianapolis, so that travel cost is going to be almost
So
non-existent.
he will be totally trained then for the next mayor to move forward and go down the road.
And what you're saying is exactly right. Out of the 40, 50 people that they're at the academies, there's probably 3 mayors there. Some school board superintendents, some economic development folks. There's a broad mix of, and it's our equivalent to a work one in some of the other states. There's probably 6, 7 other states that are there besides Indiana. Right now, it's Fayette and Henry County that are getting on board. Wayne already has, and Rushville has already turned gold. They're golden. We're not that far away. Well, like I say, we're 90% on the employees and a hair over 50% on the employers.
And I think our region is number 1 in the state, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, in fact, we've embraced it in South Central Indiana, and the rest of the state is kind of standing back and watching to see what happens with us before they commit.
Any more questions for Dan?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Street Department, David Joe.
Good evening to everybody. As you see on your sheets, what we've been doing, we've picked up a few things we're doing at springtime and mowing and so forth. We should in another week or so probably have some properties to mow. We've sent,
You'll have some properties to move. let me tell
only
you.
the police have sent, I just want everybody to know that the letters have been sent out and it's a matter of getting them back and getting them rotated. We're gonna be mowing the properties that we're gonna tear down, like on Summit and Reed, and I think there's 8 or 9 that we're gonna tear down this year, so we're gonna mow those and get those cleaned up before we do tear them down because they look bad. We started a project and we got 2 blocks done on Grand Avenue. We're filling the cracks in the asphalt. And hopefully what that'll do is, we'll keep the water, rain, snow, whatever out, and that's what starts the potholes. So we're trying to do that. We'll see what that project takes us during the summer, and we'll go from there.
This, we bought a new emulsion. It doesn't have to be heated, and it sets up, but it doesn't set all the way up. And we put it down with a small wand, and then we put sand on it, a real fine sand. I was up on Grand today and looked at some that they did last Friday. It looks like it's going to work. If you notice our streets, they crack laterally with the street, and those are stress cracks. And then the water gets in there, and then it breaks open when it freezes. So we've been trying to find something that won't get on your tires, won't track in your house, and I think we found it. I ordered 4 barrels of it, and I was up there today. They did 2 blocks and didn't use that much. It goes a long way, and it seems to be doing a real good job. I got a wind of it. The city of Franklin is using it, and it really preserves your streets. We have a loaner, what's he call that thing up on top?
Pump that puts it out in
He
the,
calls it a thing, but if it's on top of the barrel and it pumps and hooks up to a 12-foot battery, we borrowed one. If it works good, we'll try to buy one.
he's got a used one too that we can buy if we need one.
We're not gonna buy it till I see that it
No.
works.
And then the sand that you see on the road, we'll let it set for a few days and we'll take the sweeper over it and we'll pick up the sand. So it's not the mess in the street.
David, if I may, and I forgot, I had a gentleman call me last week about a property, and I went by it, and there's some issues, and I can't remember, do I see Dave Counselor first, or you about?
Just let one of us know. If you let Dave know, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
We'll get it taken care of.
Tom, we get calls every day.
That's the reason I didn't want to,
People say, why don't you cut that grass? Well,
I know
let me tell you the procedure.
and I can't remember the
Once,
protocol.
once we recognize a house that's got 8 inches of grass,
Right?
okay, then we have to send a letter. Then we have to wait 10 days. If they don't
remember.
respond, then we send a crew in to cut it. So you're almost a month
Oh, I
before you
understand.
can do anything.
I know.
And at this time of year, they're all grown up and we don't have any letters back. I think we're very near ready to start, right?
Yeah, we got letters out, should be getting some back, and we probably got, I'll say 30-plus letters out. I don't know the exact, but probably 30, 35.
But let me tell you what is happening. Many of those letters, when he sends them out, they go cut their grass. That's good.
Right.
Then we don't have to cut it. And they're cutting them.
Yes.
So it's
you.
working.
Thank you.
But
Any more questions?
don't be impatient because you have to go through
No, I
that due
just-
process.
What do you contact first?
I have a burning question for you. I've had many calls and questions about why 8th Street was paved.
Why 8th Street was paved?
Why was it chosen? Or was that on the agenda or schedule? Or,
I didn't pick the streets. I don't know.
Board of Works does
Board of
that.
Works does that. I
And
did
it's
that.
one of the worst streets in town, and the street through the winter broke through into the gravel. And then we had, I don't know, did the utility people leave? We had 3 major water breaks, and it really tore the street up at the top of the hill. And then the water ran down under it, and it froze, and the whole, if you're going up the hill, the left-hand side is gone completely. Did you go over and look at it?
I don't travel that road. I mean,
You
I
need to
don't
go look at
own
it.
But
we
when it
tried
was
to pick-
milled last time too,
Huh?
tell me if I'm wrong, last time it was done, it was milled too deep and took a lot of the base out of it. So there's not much road there to ride on.
Okay. Are we gonna do something like out in front of Subway, still with the, is that
Well,
our
that's-
responsibility to
that's
do
a
that?
highway.
It's state highway there.
That is, okay, because there was some pipes that, were those pipes?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about where the leak was. I
Right, they're in
believe,
front,
yeah.
they're in front of Marathon Station, Subway Marathon right there.
Well, I just know that I had asked for Canyon Parkway to be redone just from Ranch to Third, and not because I live on Canyon Parkway, mine is fine, but that gets a lot of heavy traffic due to schools. And that was 2 years ago when the Roberts Building ate up all my budget. They took the money.
Dave, I should come and see you Friday on that 12.
Well, I'm gonna ask Paul if he's available in the morning at 9 o'clock, I'll be at your house. And I'll probably be hungry,
I'll be there.
so I'll meet you there.
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate
I'll be there at 9 o'clock in the morning, how's that?
it, thank you.
Connie, the Roberts Building didn't eat up your money for your street. That's a separate fund completely.
Well, that's what I was told.
Who told you that?
Dave did.
I didn't tell you that.
Well, the parking lot or something that took up money for paving, the paving of the parking lot, I think. It
That was
wasn't the
separate
building, it wasn't the
too.
building, it was the parking lot.
We
That was
did,
back in
we did
2012.
we did the hill to the high school 2 years ago. And I drove Canyon Parkway.
It's been patched, it's not terrible now.
Uh,
That was back after the River Bicentennial.
I would invite you to go look at the streets that we're doing. One down by the carpet store has sunk 12 inches.
So we're doing Central too?
I'm sorry.
We're doing Central? Is that
We're
what you're
doing a
saying?
portion down there.
on Third Street.
We're also doing in front of CVS. It's terrible from Third Street up to McCann's. We'll look at-
Combs.
We try to pick the worst ones first. We've also saved around $68,000 to $70,000. We're gonna try to do some of our own, because we can do more with our own than we can hiring it out.
That's what they have.
In fact, Brad just told me 10th Street, 10th Street, we're gonna have to do something over there too. Hills are hard to keep. Got anything else? How'd the
Operating,
big trash go?
excuse me.
Maybe you both know, I don't.
I'm sorry?
How did the big trash thing go?
That's Tom.
They were mad at me because I didn't pick it up, so I don't know how they were with him.
Well, I could tell you, but I have to kill you. We had, you want me to tell you?
Well, I
Or
think
you wanna wait till-
we'd all like to know
till
how
my-
it went.
Till my turn comes. Since you're dying to know, I'll tell you now. We had 201 customers Friday, and Saturday, we had like 137 Friday, and then what was left Saturday morning we took care of. We did about 50.25 ton, and I do thank the mayor for affording this opportunity for the transportation to provide that service, and I know there can't be a dirty mattress left in Congress. Can't be.
But there is.
Can there?
But I do see TVs laying around though.
Well, we do a lot of
That's
those too.
another subject too.
But anyway, thank you for that. I appreciate that opportunity that we gave it.
So your
And
big-
hopefully we can do that again in the fall.
Your biggest customers were mattresses?
Yeah. Mattresses and few TVs, mainly mattresses.
And the phone did slow down today. Thank you all.
Cost of
Thank you,
operating
David.
Dave's department, street department in April was $114,626.27. He had no overtime in motor vehicle highway, but he did in Department of Transportation of $612.92. I'm assuming that was small.
Thanks, Fran.
Tom, you're next.
Yes, sir. You have your report in front of you, my report. You folks have any questions?
Utility,
You already had utilities, didn't you?
you know,
You skipped mine.
Oh, you're gonna bring him up again? I'm sorry, I thought you already did your
well, he
thing.
talked about the increases. This was,
Should have my report.
Yeah.
It was a little late, but attaches our revenue and expenditures. Overtime was $2,316. Work orders, 76 for April. Bob at the sewer plant was busy the last couple of months. He completed his annual report. There's copies if you want to take a look at them. If you're not into the stuff, it's kind of boring. But it's all the reports, everything he did last year, and a little bit more. Also, he updated the emergency procedures for our wastewater treatment center and the water treatment center. So they're updated now, ready to go. So Bob did a real good job with that. And a reminder of the sewer line insurance letters that went out last week. Just let the people know, you don't have to do it. It's not, it's only if you want to. The endorsed letter by the mayor is just that endorsement, saying that we support this company for insurance, for water lines or sewer lines, but you don't have to do it. I just want to remind people, we had a few phone calls thinking that they had to do this. We also had our VAC training last week, went very well with the guys, and it was mentioned about fixing the front subway on top of the hill. That is going to get paved when we pave Grand Avenue. Milestone's going to do it all at once, while the equipment's here in town. If anybody's, any questions?
Are we responsible for fixing it since we tore it up?
Yeah, but we just.
That comes out of a different fund, utility fund.
But, while Milestone has to quote it in, they're gonna take care of it for us. There's a few other spots in town also.
They're also gonna warranty the Western. We got some problems up there, and they're gonna warranty that. Blacktop gets a 1-year warranty.
Mike, I got a couple phone calls about that insurance letter too.
Yeah, we got.
And that really it was really kind of interesting that it was endorsed and had our seal on it and everything.
It was,
And-
looked like it came from us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is, it's really a problem with, elderly people thinking that they had to do that it was, a bill, more or less.
Yeah, that's why we probably the 10 or 12 calls we got was people older thinking,
Right.
I have to pay this?
Yeah.
There's another company sent one out too, and
Yeah,
it
there's
was
been-
not endorsed.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And we wanted to be sure that they knew this is the one that the city endorsed.
Mm-hmm.
The boys researched this real good. This is a company they felt should be endorsed.
ARP's got a letter out too.
So who it is?
I mean, I thought I was getting mail from the city. I just thought, you know,
That's what it looked like.
yeah.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I would like to publicly comment on Mike and Brad both. I've had a few people call me and they've had questions regarding with utilities and they get on it right away. And I really appreciate that. The two guys are doing a real good job.
And we've run one man short in the water department on the water crew for almost a year.
Pretty much.
Appreciate it.
Well, half a year, yeah.
On that insurance letter, they're gonna get another one in the fall, so.
That one was for just sewer,
Yeah, just
wasn't
for
it?
sewer.
Right.
They
We know-
can, they
we
can
know
sign
when.
up for either one, but they didn't want to confuse things by offering both. But,
Same time.
yeah, but, in the fall, there'll be a water letter endorsed by Connersville again, so.
Do we know when? Or
It's in the
you feel it?
fall, by September.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, sir.
We have companies come in here on a regular basis wanting the city to endorse it, all kinds of different things. But the utility people thought that that was a good thing because your sewer, you get roots. We have more people expect us to clean the sewer out, and of course, we don't clean out from the house to the curb. So it's a good deal. And a lot of people have called in and they're buying it. Some people got caught up in the other one because the other people got their letter out first. And it may be a good company too, I'm not even sure who it is. Fire, Troy,
Now there's
Yeah, you
transfer
skipped one.
station now.
I skipped him.
That's okay.
I'll get you in a minute.
We had 101 runs for the month, 190 hours on emergencies, 25 hours on inspections, 11 investigations, 6 hours on pre-planning, 102 hours on training, and 35,000 on estimated loss. Looks like we had a total of $1,020.77 on overtime. Is there any questions?
170,823, I believe, was your expenses for April.
Guys did their spring cleaning and got the stations all up and ready to go for summer.
Questions? Did you check that
Yeah.
thing? Was it
Looks like they've
leaking
been down through there and put new ones up.
already?
Yeah. Thank you.
Utility, excuse me. Tom, transfer station.
That's fine. Yeah, you
No.
folks have the,
I drew a line through it when I called you the first time.
That's fine.
But do you have anything else you want to say about
you have your
transfer?
report in front of me. We had a successful trade day. I have got the numbers back from CGS, and again, very successful heavy trash. And I hope the mayor will let me do that again this fall. I think it's a good
What would be,
program.
what would be the difference between a regular Friday and that Friday? Well, can you tell what the difference is?
Oh, my. About 120 different more people.
So you were really busy.
Yeah, we were extremely busy, but it worked out good. It worked out good. CGS, they took care of us, and again, we had an extra, 40 ton, a little over 50 ton of waste. So it was
It
good.
helps clean up the city.
It was good. Thank you.
EMS,
Okay, for April, our expenses was $44,397.46. Our receipts was $17,967.41, and for a total of $26,430.05 to the city share. Any questions?
Dale, I know we have the new ambulance, and I assume it's working well.
Yep.
How are we on our backups? Are they,
They're getting some miles on them.
okay.
But, our EMS2's got about 96,000 on it. Our EMS3's got about 56,000 on it. We've taken, every Tuesday, we take the new one out of service completely and use the two older ones to trying to save the miles on the new one. And then we use the oldest one as the primary on that
Okay.
day.
Okay.
So,
Do we have a grant pending on the old one?
well, yeah, that's the AGF grant, the fire grant.
When do we hear about that one?
Sometime between now and probably September, October. It's just whenever they draw, if you get lucky and get drawn.
And if it worked, what would be the value of that? If we got lucky?
Just whatever you can find somebody to give you for it, because we have to get rid of it. If we get drawed, we have to sell it. And it cannot go to another ambulance service.
Okay.
It has to be sold to somebody like Ward's off the street.
Yeah, okay.
Any questions?
Thank you, Dale.
Thanks, sir.
If this is right. Parks and Recreation, Jesse?
All right, revenue for the month, $12,861.90. That brings us up to $50,000 for the year. Expenditures, $41,963.83. We had our opening day for Babe Ruth T-ball and softball included that as well. Last weekend, not this past weekend, the one before that, everything went absolutely perfect. The weather was perfect, so that was a plus. We have had some summer help start working. The rest of them will start when school is out. Quite a few of them are high schoolers, so we have to wait on them. We are currently filling up the pool as we speak, so keeping our fingers crossed. The first day is Saturday, so it'll be open for this weekend, and then again that following Thursday after school's out for the rest of the season. So that's all I got. Any questions?
Yeah, I want to ask something on the, I'm assuming this was on the Easter egg hunt.
Yes.
The eggs were like $600. I guess I was thinking in my mind that it was kind of like the elder's lunch that you were, talking about how we do things for different age groups. So we actually buy that. I mean, that's not a donation or anything like that.
No, the only thing that's donated for the Easter egg hunt, a lady donates some money to get bikes. And we fill up about 100 eggs with prizes in them. And I think there was four prizes where each kid won a bike in a different age group. So she donated money to that, and there was a little bit left over to go towards the eggs, so. Yep.
Thank you.
You?
Connie, it gets tougher all the time. We keep hitting people for donations.
I know, well,
Hitting
yeah.
people.
Luckily, she comes to us every year for that
Yeah.
specific thing, so we're very grateful. All right, thank you.
Connersville Police Department.
We had 942 law reports, 28 citations issued, 0 violations of ordinances. Had 61 warnings, 8 personal injury accidents, 33 property damage accidents, 0 fatalities, and 82 arrests.
180, are you ready for me?
I'm ready for you.
Oh, okay. $183,955.29 to operate your department in April, and the overtime, $144.06.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It depends if detectives get called or the SWAT team gets called, so we're pretty good. Just emergencies basically, serious time or something.
Dave, does
Sure.
your people go to the park quite often? I've heard a lot of people call me and said they're on the picnic tables, which is
Yes.
kids, they're taking skateboards and everything. I said, well, you guys check it, go through it. Of course,
Well,
I
we
said,
stick
when you
out like
see them
sore-
coming,
We still
they
stick
run.
out like sore thumbs. They see us coming,
Yeah.
with the.
That's what I said. I said, did
We
you
do
ever
try
try
to
to catch
keep tabs on that as much as possible, and we
Yeah.
do go up there quite a bit. We beefed it up here in the last couple of months quite a bit. So we'll continue on doing that. And,
But of course, when they see you coming, they all play innocent.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wonder what they want up here.
That's true. May I say something, Mayor, about the grass, for all those out in TV land that is listening? If you have a yard that you've been taking care of, like a vacant house next to you, and you're just fed up and tired of seeing it grow, and you go over and mow it yourself, but at the same time you want to complain about it, don't mow it, because I cannot come out and take a picture of that property and send a letter to the owner, whoever holds the title to that property, if the grass is all cut. And we've been running into that lately. And we have took down properties and sent out, and started sending out letters and stuff, and then you go there and that property's been cut. So people have been cutting their grass. They don't want to get it cut by the city because they don't want that expense. But like I've ran into several situations where neighbors get tired of looking at it, they go ahead and cut it. But if they go ahead and do that, there's not much for us to do because obviously they're taking care of it. So I just wanted to put that out there for everyone.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thank you very much.
TV3.
For the month of April, we did 9 hours, 7 minutes of meetings, 8 hours, 34 minutes of original programming. The Garden Doctor Show is back on the air now. In fact, this coming Monday will be the next Garden Doctor Live Call-In show. So it's 7 o'clock Monday. You can call in and ask your gardening questions. I like to call it the let's see if we can stump Harold Maskey show. But so far he hasn't been stumped. It's pretty good. And then, of course, we did the primary election forum in April. And we'll be doing another one of those come fall. And then a couple of things coming up. This Thursday, we're going to be hosting 20 second graders in the studio, giving them a tour, so that'll be exciting. And we'll break out the green screen that they'll play in that area. And then also the library talked me into doing the Touch a Truck, so we'll be taking the production van over to the library when they do that July 9th in the city parking lot. And we're also going to try and do some interesting things there. We'll probably create a green screen environment for the kids to experience. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, John. Okay, you have your trash report. I won't pick on Tom anymore. Okay, that's our reports from our departments. Let's go to our old business. Anybody have any old business they want to bring up?
Yeah, I think this is old business that I'm going to bring up. Today, Anna Duncan was here at the board meeting and also announced they was having a groundbreaking at 2 o'clock today on it. And the people up there in Beeson did not know anything about it. And I think they're here tonight to discuss.
I think she was kidding when she said she was having
Well,
a groundbreaking
I
at 2
didn't take
o'clock.
it as kidding.
I don't think that's kidding.
I didn't take it serious, did you?
I wouldn't, I'm not sure. They look like they.
Well, if you say you're going to have a groundbreaking, why would you announce it?
I think the question was, when are you going to start? And she said at 2 o'clock.
Well, groundbreaking at 2. When you going to have the groundbreaking? 2
Well,
o'clock.
maybe she did.
I don't know.
Well,
I didn't get up there by 2. I was still down here with people.
it'll probably still be on
I
TV
was
if
there.
it's.
Did she start at 2?
No,
Okay.
it was a joke, I guess.
No, I think someone said, when are you going to start?
Uh-huh.
And I think her answer was at 2, and it was 20 minutes to 2 then.
Really?
I think so, wasn't it?
Yes.
1:30, yeah.
1:30, 20 till 2 then. I think it was just. in
But
other
she
words, I
left
think-
the room immediately after the meeting.
I think she was saying we're going to start as soon as possible because she had all her
She hasn't
volunteers.
notified us about anything again. So what is going on? Where are you right now? Should I go up there?
May I say
Yeah, sure. Come on up.
I'm neutral. I'm not taking sides. I want to make something clear. The FAA has not given any approval on the airspace in or around that trail yet. That was submitted to the FAA
That's what I
several weeks
understood
ago.
you to say.
Before that trail can come to life, it has to be okayed by the Federal Aviation Association before it penetrates federal airspace until it's adjoining federal property.
Okay.
There's been no action on that at all, none, zero, zip, zilch, it's no place.
Why did she call a meeting
I
2
don't
weeks
know that
ago?
Anna did, I think she was pulling her leg, maybe, or just making a statement like I
But
said
she sent
now.
out letters for everybody to be there. and
Well,
we
they
were
can't
there.
make a stick. Let's think about this a minute. She has to have federal airspace approval. I've talked to Anna several times. It's a 7460 form that has to be submitted to the FAA. They have 6 weeks to answer that, if they want to. They haven't answered anything. There is no airspace clearance. Therefore, nothing can happen. Nothing. That's federal airspace. So,
today it was said that that they did have the grant money to start.
Well, maybe they do, but I don't, they can't start anything until the Federal Aviation Administration says they can work next to airport.
She came to my house and she said everything is ready to go.
It is.
Leonard even said he had the blacktop.
It may be, but there's no federal approval.
Well, why are they saying all this?
I don't know what she said, I wasn't here, but like I said, I'm neutral,
Well,
I'm not in this.
I do know Leonard said he had the blacktop ready for.
Would you like to get up here, Mrs. Hood, and tell you what it was said?
Yes.
I'm over this area
Yes.
for city council, and that's why I'm here. You know, it doesn't, if these people don't want it, I think it ought to be up to these people that lives there. I don't think only thing I'm involved, I am their city councilman, and I get calls, and I've been up there. And that's why I'm saying, I think if you don't live there, I think it ought to be up to people who lives there.
And that's what Ann said when she came to my home. She said if the majority don't want it, I wash my hands of it. She shook hands with one of the neighbors up there, said that will happen. Well, then at the meeting, she changed her story. And maybe it's a story, maybe it's a joke out of her. But I don't take it as a joke.
Well, that Sunday we had the meeting up there.
Yes.
How did you think it went? Did you think it went terrific?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
None of us here wants it. Of course, the one she had there did want it, because they don't live up there. But if you live up there, you're not gonna want it in your backyard. And, so I don't know if she's pulling a joke or what, but I was the one asked for the meeting. Then she overrode me and sent out letters for some people to come to that meeting, which she didn't tell me she was gonna have all you guys there. She
It's
said
only going to be for the,
yeah, just for the people in Beeson's. But when I get there, the big crowd's there. She was just gonna listen to our side.
and I was
Well,
asked
not
why I
voting
was
on that,
there.
Yes. And I didn't appreciate it. Now, if she's the type of person that tells a joke, I don't think it's funny. And so I will get a hold of her again, and I'll see what's going on, because if somebody did this just so Ruby could come and tell all of us what was going on, I don't think that's funny.
Well, I
You
have
have a
to,
joke
city
just so Ruby
councilman,
can
I
hear.
have to go tell people
That's
in
right.
my area what's going on. Why would I keep it to myself?
Right.
They call me all the time and want to know.
And I appreciate it, Ruby. I really appreciate that you thought enough
Yeah.
of us to get a hold of us and tell us what her joke was.
Well, I
Supposedly
thought it
her
was serious. I thought, it
Well, I
can't
did too.
believe.
I thought it was
Because she
serious.
told us she would get back with us and let us talk to you people again on it. Did she ever get back?
No, she's not got back to anybody.
And Gabe thought it was a great meeting that Sunday that we had.
Yeah, he did speak up and says a great meeting last week. I listened to him on the council. I didn't think it was so great.
We can
But
differ
that's my
opinion.
opinion.
Yeah, we can different opinion.
But really, I don't know if maybe you was joking.
No,
I don't know how to take anybody serious
No,
anymore.
that's serious.
Well, I just think that people that lives up there ought to have the rule.
I think so too.
It's going to be in their backyard. It's not going to, how many people will want that in their backyard?
I mean,
You know, start the river. There's no backyard there. They can play in the river. The walk will be great there.
All these people that don't live there, they want it in their yard.
Oh, yeah, they want it in their yard. But, well, I don't appreciate the joke. And I will get a hold of Ann and I'll ask her about the joke.
Well, I'm
But
not
I don't
saying it
think
was a
it's funny.
joke. I don't know. You were here. How did you take it?
About
When
her
she
breaking
said-
ground at 2?
Yeah.
I thought she was kidding, but
Well,
about
I
that.
didn't. I thought it was serious.
Why did she even say that?
Well, how do I know
Is it funny
that?
to you people?
No,
Is it funny?
I think what she was insinuating, I just thought she was insinuating, the sooner the better. You know, you say
Yeah.
that.
Well, you heard him say it can't even happen.
Well, I'm sure she knows that.
I know she does too, because her husband works up there.
But they said they got the money and they're ready to go.
And they're ready to go.
We submitted that. How long, didn't Corey submit
2 years
that to
ago,
the
we
FAA?
talked about that.
Gene?
We talked about that at last meeting.
Didn't we talk about it at the meeting before that when
Yes,
Corey said he was gonna
but there
submit
was
it?
nothing submitted on it at that time, I don't believe, Julie. She has to submit those forms, we don't. I mean,
Oh, Anna has to?
and yeah.
Have they been submitted?
The entity or the committee that's doing that, the airport does not submit those.
But have they submitted it?
I have no idea. I'm sure she has, because I told her about it a long time ago. She called me and asked about that, because it borders our airspace. Of course, Jeff knows about that. And, matter
Well,
of fact,
not all of it borders the airspace, so.
it goes down
The airport safety zone probably runs down there 1,800 feet, runs beyond Walmart.
But
So
when
that-
I'm saying if she starts at 32nd,
That's
she would,
almost half of what she proposed as a trail.
Sir?
That's almost half of the distance what she proposed as a trail.
Yes. There's protected airspace, then you get into transition zones and other protected airspace. Part 77 airspace surrounds that airport. And all that has to be approved by the feds before anything goes, and Anna knows that.
I
Well,
thought.
she said that you had changed your mind now, you were for the trail.
It doesn't
But
matter.
maybe she was joking again.
Well, this ain't no joke, people, this
This
is
is no joke
serious.
to us. But she did say that to my home. She said that you had changed your mind.
I can change my mind, I can stand on my head, and the FAA doesn't care.
But I don't know why she said that.
Well, I don't think she did, because she.
Oh, well, now listen, I'm not lying.
I
She
know,
said
I
that
know,
to me.
but Anna did
Okay.
not ask me about airspace. Her husband runs the airport.
I know
She
she
knows
does. I
about
know that,
airspace.
Mrs. Hood,
Well,
thank
she
you
said
so
that.
much for coming tonight and voicing your.
I know you're tired of listening to me, but I wanted some questions and I had something to ask Mr. Baker, if you don't
Go
care.
right ahead and ask Mr. Baker.
Oh, May, okay. 2 years ago when we was here, you said you had no idea who the property owned, the railroad belonged to or anything, and I hear now it's already been bought.
Well, actually, I think it was deeded for no consideration by the state to the city. The state bought up the right of way when they did the Park Road extension.
But 2 years ago, you said you had no
Well,
idea.
that was the case 2 years ago.
No, it's supposed to have been 13 years ago that Ellison bought it.
I didn't
Come
know
every
that.
other railroad that gets abandoned, it reverts back to the property owner.
I
That's
only,
why-
I know one thing Mr. Baker said, they researched the deeds, and that was all given back, and the city actually bought some, and what was it, $12,000?
Well, the question is whether or not the railroad actually was deeded the property, or did the railroad have easements to use the property for a railroad? And if the property was no longer used for a railroad, then the easement would have been abandoned and the property would have gone back to
That's what we
respective
understood.
landowners. But what the state gave us was deeds to the property, whereby the railroad had purchased.
And that's
the
only
railroad.
been, what, 2 years ago?
Well, no, you can, Gabe, when was it? we got the deed?
6 months ago, I think, is when we actually got the actual deed, 6 months to a year.
Where'd you get your information from, Leonard, when you said 13 years ago Ellison bought it?
They sold to us on a quick
Some of
claim
it
deed.
we did. When they were gonna do the state highway up there, some of it they did, but in fact, some of it isn't transferred yet, but the state gave
But
her.
not up there, is it? Not in Beeson's edition. Ellison didn't buy that then, did he, when he was the mayor?
I think you did
You
buy
did
some
buy
of it, didn't you?
Well, I don't
13
recall
years ago?
exactly.
I saw $12,000 transferred one time or another.
It could have been, yeah. I just don't
Were you aware of
Well,
the
2
money?
years and
at some
13 years
point.
is a big difference, isn't it?
But there was some that wasn't transferred by accident. And the state sent her a letter, and they sent the letter to me saying, move forward with your project. We will be transferring this in the near future. But they said, go move forward. That's what the state said. You saw that.
Yeah, you must have said that when you mentioned that you already had the blacktop ready, the spread up there.
I don't have the blacktop ready. She's paying for it. We'll buy it from,
Grant says.
we'll
But
buy it.
Why are you gonna do that when he says it's not even ready to do anything
Well, I'm
yet?
sure it won't be done till it's ready.
Until the airport agrees
First place,
to.
you're gonna have to do a lot of work before you can blacktop.
I think it
I
ought to
don't
be
know.
up
I
to
just think
people
it's-
who lives there. I don't
I
think
do
the
too. I
the
think we
city
should get to
has.
say something about it.
Then that's what you're doing right
And
here.
that's exactly what I'm doing, and that's exactly what I'll keep on doing.
Okay,
So if the jokes goes on, we'll see, okay?
fine with me.
Okay.
I just think that it ought to be up to the people who lives up there that has a vote whether they want it or not. Because you can go to another place, you can go to the river, it ain't gonna bother nobody. And that's just another place for drugs, and we're trying to get rid of drugs.
We have
If
a
people
leak up
want
there
to
now on
walk,
the
they can
road.
go different places in
We've had a
town.
leak up there for 2 weeks. All they do is stick a cone out in the road. That's a Beeson's addition. You don't have to fix it. But let's put a trail behind our houses.
And we can't even get sidewalks.
Where,
We couldn't
where,
get them in our,
where is the leak? On
right
32nd?
on Wayne Avenue, just a few doors from me.
Okay. We have one on 32nd too, I think.
Well, we have one at Beeson on Wayne Avenue too.
Did that just come up recently?
No, it's been over 2 weeks ago, going on 3 weeks now.
They take them in order of how bad they were. That's the way we do it.
Really? Well, Puddle the Birds is playing in it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's getting pretty bad.
Has it been reported?
Oh, yes, it's been reported.
Where'd the cone come from if it wasn't
Yeah.
reported?
No, I didn't stick that cone out there.
Well, like I said when we were talking about utilities, we're one man short in the water department, and we have leaks. The system is 50 to 100 years old under this city, and they take them in order how bad they're leaking and where they are. There was one over on 5th Street, was real bad, got it fixed. It was really bad. It got it fixed last week. They tried it, and on our report tonight, it shows you all the ones that are fixed.
I'm just telling you, there's one up there that hasn't been fixed.
If you can get 1 or 2, maybe 3 a day, you're lucky. I mean, you know, with a crew of 3 or 4 people, it's tough. And I think your son, no, he doesn't work on the crew anymore, but he used to.
No, but he knows it too. He's been to the house and he knows it.
But he knows how tough it is to keep everything fixed and going.
Yeah.
Well, there's 10 people here tonight that lives up there on that street, so they must be interested. They don't want the trail.
We'd rather have sidewalks.
We never could get sidewalks even when our kids went to school.
The city of Connersville promised them sidewalks up there in 1958 if they'd vote to go in the city.
Uh-huh.
But if you don't, we will cut your fire protection.
And street lights.
Yes, it never happened.
Never happened. We're promised a lot.
Yep.
This is one promise we're not gonna go for. I promise you, I'll fight it till the end.
They promised us we'd have a say in the rehab center up there
That's
on
right.
Erie Avenue too, and they was digging foundations when they finally called a meeting for us.
That's why you don't have people to vote. You got 13% people vote. Because of people like you that comes and voice their opinion, and it's where you live, it's a waste of time. I keep saying, give us faith, give us time. We can make it better.
Traffic up Wayne
If
Avenue.
they voted to go in the city in 1958.
Son, I was only 10 years old in 52. I don't know what they were doing then.
I was there, and I was old enough to know that.
Well, we've lived there
Well, I
60
graduated
years.
out
I do know that I built a house, I guess you'd say I live in Offutt's Park, but I built a house
I know where you live.
and I wanted water in my house and I wanted sewer in my hotel I built down there, and I paid to put it in. I paid, the city didn't put it in, I paid to put it in. And then when I built my house, I paid to hook up to my sewer, because I donated the sewer back to the city, because that's the law. There's a lot of unfair things in this world. I don't have any sidewalk in front of my house. People walk on the road.
I understand that.
I do have a curb, but you know who put the curb in?
You did.
I did, yeah. I
I'm
have,
sorry, we don't have that kind of money, Leonard.
I
We didn't put any curbs, we didn't get curbs, sidewalks, nothing up there.
we don't have any,
The only thing we got was water and sewer.
we don't have a storm
And
sewer.
you're paying for that.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not.
I don't know if you,
And I've heard we'll never have sewer up in Beeston's Edition, the storm sewer.
Never.
We'll never have it.
we don't have storm sewer either. Have you ever seen 37th when it rains?
Have you been told you'll never get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to.
There's no
So
place
pay
to,
the bill.
there's no place to go with it.
Yeah, I know. So I pay that bill, they'll know it.
Yeah, eventually,
river.
if they get the outfall that they're talking about to the river, there will be storm sewer up there. But
And we're about as close to the river as you can get.
it's about 2020.
We're about as close to the river as you can get compared to the rest of the city.
Anything else under old business? Do you have anything, Tom?
No, sir. Do not.
Gabe?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming to the plant sale. We had a great plant sale up at the high school, and I just want to appreciate everybody coming out to that.
If you want a demonstration of your plants, they're all planted out in front of you. Did you bring me a receipt?
I forgot it. I'll get you one later.
We really need that.
I'll get you one.
Fran, did you have anything else?
No, I have nothing.
Connie, old business? Okay, thank you. I better put those on so I can see where we are. Miscellaneous business. Ruby, you got anything?
No, the prayer service they had up front of the courthouse a couple weeks ago was very good. It was well planned and everybody did a terrific job. It's just too bad that no more people shows up.
The nicest thing is we had a good PA system.
Hey, it was great,
So the
the whole
kids-
thing. Everybody was well mannered, it was well behaved, it just went on perfect. To me, it's like a perfect day.
Okay, on the mayor's update, I talked to you about the patching material that we're experimenting with. And you were all here at the last city council meeting when we were told about the bluegrass music, and they insinuated to us that the floor wasn't strong enough to hold, and it scared me a little bit. So the next day I went up there and looked at it. I found two of the heaviest people I could find, and I had them go up there and jump. I stood under it, and it did move a little. I was lucky. Brett Adams allowed me to use one of his engineers. He came up and looked at the building. The state fire marshal came down, and I told him what I intended to do, and we actually put 3 12-foot beams on basement jacks down the center of the building, just to be sure, and he thought that we did the right thing. It cost us about $400 to do it, and we did it. I got a letter from the class today that had the prom in there, and they were grateful. Since that time, an engineer has engineered the building free for me, and we're going to put, if you remember in that basement, there's 2 rows of poles. We're going to put timbers on each side of the poles and box them in so they look like beams, which will hold the floor permanently. We won't have to go through that again. The floor is really pretty solid, but we just want to be darn sure. The bluegrass people realized that they had been told a story. They never did get to vote on whether there was going to be any or not, and they've just agreed to quit. And I haven't heard any more from them. I don't know if any of you have heard from them. They're not unhappy. They just they weren't told all of the facts by their leader. So that kind of off the thing. Fran's going to be at the hospital on the 27th. The congressman is coming. The hospital has asked for us to work with them a little bit, and Fran's going to attend that meeting and report back to you on how that goes. Congressman
Messer will be
will be there.
Senator Lysing.
Senator Lysing. And he'll report back to you after that's over.
When's that? When's that?
27th, right?
Yes.
At 10 o'clock. If you'd like to go, you surely are welcome.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have under public forum. Do we have anything anybody'd like to say? Anybody?
You're satisfied with Dave coming up tomorrow at 9 o'clock? Okay, that's good.
One thing, our dinner really went well at the park. We appreciate it. That was the first one we'd gone to. It was very nice.
Those are lovely. I think there was about 250 people.
Well, our class of 53 made a big effort, and there were probably 12 to 15 class members that were there. We enjoyed it. It was fun.
That's great. I can't go anymore. That's the only thing I'm not old enough for.
Me either, Leonard.
But it is nice. I was going to say something about the dinner, but I can't remember what it was, but I guess it was unimportant. Anybody else got anything on the public forum? Anybody want to speak on any issue? None? Okay. I have nothing unless the council does. We can adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, before we do, that's what I was going to say. On that hump, it has to be engineered so that the front wheels hit the hump at the same time. So you got to be very careful. And David, I'll tell you, that was the problem with the speed bump. One hit and then the other. It's got to be, so I don't know who you're going to have to do that, but it's got to draw a line across there, and the front wheel's got to hit this way and coming back. That's the law, and if it doesn't, we have a liability. Okay? I was at the Speedway over the weekend, and they had a mayor's meeting up there. They have all kinds of humps, and you got to hit those so that you don't get this.
I appreciate you, Dave, checking on it.
Anybody has anything, why, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
We've already done that.
Who did it? I want to know.
Fran and Gabe.
Well, since you tell me it's
Fran
done.
did.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.